Hey everyone. Forgive me if I look like I'm in a bit of pain. I am physically. That's all right. We've got an interview very important for you guys. It's about the digital identity legislation. I've got an expert, well, not an expert, but someone that's read up on this a lot. Um, Aaron John Hale is someone who's did a video on this particular topic, and it was very insightful. It was very insightful, and I ended up sharing it yesterday. I think Maria Z shared it to her profile, and I'm going to join him in now so that we can get ourselves a little bit more about exactly what this bill's about. Aaron, how you doing?
Hey Joel, how you going? I'm well.
Yeah, good. Aaron, I've got to ask you: do you have a death wish? I was just wondering why did you speak out on this bill? And I mean, you don't do this stuff usually,
No,
but
it's
you felt. Yeah, please.
yeah, it's an interesting situation, because I'm an Australian citizen, but I've lived in Switzerland for the last 20 years, right? So I'm not totally involved with what's happening in Australia. And as far as politics goes in general, I'm kind of like to keep to the sidelines. It's a bit, my motto has been ignorance is bliss, right? But ever since COVID happened, there's just been this switch in my attention, and I've just have a real drive and passion and motivation towards understanding politics and finding out what's going on. To get my Swiss passport, I had to really know the structure of the Swiss system, and they have a really true democracy there. And Australia, it's kind of dwindling behind, the democracy. It's not a real democracy, as you know, right? And as we're seeing today, and I think that was the thing that twisted me to speak out on this one, is that yeah, we just have to be very careful of this legislation. At the moment, it's harmless, right? It
Yeah,
appears harmless, but I think
yeah,
there can be repercussions.
yeah. Well, let's get into it. What specifically in legislation is the worst case scenario, just in legislation, and then after that, we'll talk about what this could grow into.
Yeah. So I think, legislation in itself, I mean, it's just the fact that, the government and private sector, because that's what this legislation is saying. It's not just going to be restricted to the government eyes, it's going to be opened up, not straight away, but over time to private sectors. And who those people are, we don't know. Like that, this is totally up to the government's discretion on who gets to access information. At the moment, as I said, it's harmless because you decide who has access to that information. But we can see what's going on in the world around us now, not only in Australia, but even in Switzerland right now, is that, are you vaccinated or not vaccinated? They're not mandating it, but you're losing your job because of it. So if you sign up for digital identity, or if you don't sign up, is there going to be that discrimination again, later on down the track?
Mm. Do, a lot of people have said that this legislation isn't actually a big deal. It just makes sense. It brings all the passports together in one place. I mean, what would you say to those people?
Well, I think it's true. I think definitely it streamlines everything, and I think in today's world, when you just want to do things quickly, it makes sense, and when you look at the population continually growing, of course, on a governmental level, it makes also sense to be able to streamline stuff and to be able to have an overview of their citizens, in one place, right? Rather than it all being sort of isolated into different institutions. But as soon as I say that now, you just sort of kind of see where that's going, in the future, that all of these, isolated institutions will become one. And that's where democracy is really on the line, if there's just sort of one controlling center. So yeah, at the moment, I don't think there's anything to worry about. I think it's harmless right now because it is just streamlining, but at the moment, it is just government. It's just your Medicare, it's your tax file number, it's the anything that's owned by the government. And it's not
Mm.
private sectors. Like Woolworths is not going to have any access to this information, but will they if they
Mm.
open up to private sectors?
Yeah. One of the biggest problems, as you know, about government is they're very bad at doing their job. They couldn't even roll out their own jab efficiently. And when it comes to implementing a lot of these services, they don't actually have the database to do that. In Australia, we had a situation a few months ago where a lot of people realized that they could opt out of the, I think, Australian immunization records, where it would go
Yeah.
online, and
Medicare.
because
Yep.
the federal government, they don't have a federal database for that stuff. They just have all sort of the state ones, and nothing had been integrated, and so the quickest way to sort of leverage that out and to opt out was to send that form in, which is actually still, the link's still in my bio for that, guys, by the way. But the point there is, if you opt out of that particular thing, you're good. Now, what this is going to do, what this legislation is going to do, is it's going to make it a lot easier to bring everything together, as you said. And you know what? It makes a lot of sense. You know what? In
Definitely.
a world in a world where you could trust your government, it makes a lot of sense to have everything in one place, pay everything with a chip in your hand, and do it that way. But you know what? I don't trust the government, and that's my
That's
problem. I don't trust people because it's a story as old as time. People, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I think that's the biggest fear on this. So let's go to the absolute dystopian sort of future of this being rolled out widely in Australia. What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I find it hard to go there. I like to sleep peacefully at night. But yeah,
Okay.
the worst case scenario is that, one government body, whether that's, the left, the right, whether it's a world domination, because that's kind of like the story that you hear, that they will have access to everything about you, everything about you, every single movement you make, the people that you meet with, the things that you search online, how much alcohol you buy at the shop, how many cigarettes or whatever it is that you do, this will be centralized into one digital arena and will be controlled by one centralized agency. And who that's going to be, we don't know. So I think it's really important that people sort of are just awake to the possibilities to this. I mean, I hope that it doesn't go down this direction, but it's the
Yeah.
time is to stop it now, because Wednesday is the last day that we get to have our say. And it doesn't mean that we have to abolish the whole digital identity per se, but we need to look at what are these legislations looking like, and what are these policies, what's the future look like? They haven't been transparent in letting us know that this is going to be passed, and that this is going to be implemented by the end of the year. There are admittedly 1.8 million people who have already signed up and they have their digital identity. And I don't know if you've seen some of the comments with Maria Z. She posted the video yesterday. And, some of those people that were watching the video were like, holy shit, I've signed up. And how do I get myself out? I've gone online and I've tried to remove my identity from this site, and I can't seem to do it. I mean, I'm sure if you write to them, they'll say, okay, we've deleted your account. However, nothing is deleted from the internet, right? Nothing. Like anything that's been online is stored somewhere. There's an amazing machine. It's just sort of taking you off track. It's called the Wayback Machine. If you type it into get DuckDuckGo rather than Google, but Wayback Machine, it's called archive.org, and you can go back and find old documents from any website, you know, and that's non-existent online today, but it's still there somewhere stored away, and that's going to be the same as your digital identity.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's not going to be great. And by the way, in answering anyone that's listening's question, if you want the link to that, it's in my bio. It's the Turning Point link at the top. Aaron's been nice enough to provide a template if you guys want to copy and paste that into the box where you guys enter your answer. But also, yeah, the due date's this Wednesday before 5 p.m. on the 27th of October. And the link to submit is also the second link in my bio, under the Turning Point link. But we do know who's going to be monitoring this stuff. We do know who's going to be moderating this stuff. It's more nameless, faceless people in the bureaucracy that we don't vote in or vote out. And it's what, I would describe as the deep state, the people that last from one administration to the next or one government to the next. And
Yeah.
they're people that they stay there and they grow like some kind of parasite on the toast. And this is something, guys, that no government really reduces. They never take an axe to these government programs or the bureaucracy, because the bureaucracy, it'll defend itself. The parasite will attack, and that's what we're seeing. So we can fight fight back against this. Probably the only. Your video was excellent, by the way. It was. I know I said it to you on the phone, but it really was. I was hoping someone would speak out about it, and I was worried that no one had done a video on it other than that young lady with the British accent, but also John Lada did a video a couple of days ago, and I was really concerned that no one was picking up on this. One of the things you pointed out was that, I think, was it phase one? There was only 44 submissions, and that was in November, December last year.
Yeah, exactly. So it was right at sort of the peak of all of the drama that was going on otherwise. So just a perfect timing to actually like reach out to the people to hear their opinions and get their feedbacks. As you said, it was 44 individuals and businesses. I think if I go rightly, it was like 6 individuals. I think I've got the numbers here. And anyway, just ridiculous. It was 44 people, and this is the deciding factor for the whole country on how this legislation is going to roll out,
Mm. Having just 44 businesses and individuals is ridiculous. It's like, how did we miss that? Now, I know why I missed that. You guys can go watch the shows that I made back then. I was focusing on the US election. This stuff, it snuck through, and I'm ashamed I didn't pick up on it. I really am. I try to not miss a beat, but this is what happens when you do all the grunt work along with, the research. But when it came to the video you made, I thought it was really brilliant. The only sort of unique thing that I probably put in my video was that we had a similar situation in the UK. They did fight back a bill like this, where the online passport wasn't sort of going to happen. Now, don't get me wrong; they're going to be back. They're going to try another round 2 in the UK. But they made submissions like we're making right now. You can beat this thing. And you might say, "Oh, Joel, that's the UK. They've got a good fighting spirit. They won Brexit. That's a one-off." And I'm like, no, not at all. In Victoria, there was that omnibus package that was late last year that Voice for Victoria and Reignite Democracy were talking about. And Voice for Victoria, full credit to them, they single-handedly led a charge on people making submissions to that. They got 10,000 submissions in something like 36 hours. And they got significant portions of the legislation that they had problems with, just the portions they had problems with, withdrawn. These things do matter, and this is a federal thing, guys. So if you're listening, and I know there's one bloke in here, he's the guy I've pinned his comment, Maori DP. He's in South Australia, and he's picked up on it as well, and he's raised the flag. Everyone should be raising the flag. Any serious person that cares about their freedom should have made a video by now, and if you haven't, there's still time. Today's only the 22nd. We've got 5 days. We've done more in a shorter time frame. Remember that petition we did? In 4 days, we got 300,000 signatures against, we said we wanted the vaccine rollout to adhere to the Nuremberg Code. You guys remember that one? It was the 3rd biggest petition in this e-petition in Australian history. We can beat this. We can beat this. So share it everywhere. Share this video everywhere. Share Aaron's video everywhere. And don't share my video. Maybe share this video instead. It's a bit better. And all the links are in our bio. We've really spoon-fed this one to you. Aaron made a template. The link to make submissions there as well. And Aaron, did you have anything left to say, mate? And don't hold back. Please.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think really just people need to get onto the website as well. It's digitalidentity.gov.au and just read through it. It looks a little bit daunting. There's a lot of different pages, but just go to the Have Your Say page. It tells you about, what the legislation purposes are. There's 3 purposes. And I don't know, like I'm not a full intellect when it comes to, legislations and policies and things like that. But I read it and I just think, hang on a minute. This doesn't sound like something that I want, it really sounds like it's going to go in a dark way, just with the small fine print, they're looking for a strict regimented regime, and a permanent governance, I just think, I don't know, when I start to read words like this, I just think something's wrong, and just going back to you saying with the link as well, it's, some people are having trouble with the template link. So if you have any problems, just write directly to me and I'll copy and paste it in there for you and send it directly to you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and otherwise from
All right,
my side, I just think, as you said, it's just so important that you don't actually just want to fight against the whole thing, but just this particular bill going through, that it's the private sectors. I think that's the no-go for me. That needs to be pulled right out of this legislation.
Yeah. Are you planning on making future videos like this, Aaron, on particularly on this
Well,
topic?
yeah, it's obviously I've gained your attention, so hopefully, you know, it might gain some traction for you to make more videos in the future. If people have more, questions or more sort of topics that they want to know about, then hit me up and maybe I make some more videos. Who knows?
Well, I mean, there's no excess of people that are making videos that have attention to detail like that. I totally missed this, and I wish I picked up on it sooner. And I'm grateful that someone sent me your video, and it just needed a bit of a push to get some traction. So,
Yeah,
guys, I don't want to end up in this situation again. So go give Aaron a follow. Click that. That'll drop down a menu and click follow of Aaron, and we'll double his followers today. But yeah, this is something we're going to fight back against, guys. We can't have our digital passport online. This was one of the reasons why Max Egan left the country in this last week. He just did an interview last night. He's in Mexico now. He doesn't want his identity online. But don't worry, I'm not running anywhere. I can't. I don't mean any offense to Max. Sometimes your job's easier when you're overseas. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm more effective here. And I think the only reason I'd leave the country would be to go to Florida, where they have online legislation to protect social media accounts. And then what I'd do is I'd start getting everyone's social media accounts that wants that protection. And I wouldn't control them or anything, but I just give them that protection of the Florida legislation so that they cannot get banned online. I feel like that would be the only circumstance which would enhance my ability to fight, rather than anything else. But no, I'm hanging around, guys. This is my home, and I like it. But anyway, Aaron, thank you so much for making a video. Thank you for stepping out of it's courage, mate. It's courage. I know it may not seem like much, but you could have just kept your head down and been like, she'll be right, which is an attitude I've grown sick of the last year. So thank you, mate.
yeah,
More power to you.
yeah. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for sharing the word.
Awesome. Awesome. I'll
Take
see you guys
care
later. Thanks so much, guys. Give this interview a share, get it out there, and let's smash this thing. I'll see you guys
and
later.
speak up. Yeah, speak up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speak up. I'll see you later.
Yeah,
Thanks, Aaron.
see you.